Welcome to your Barbados Today Evening News Update for Friday, March 26. 6 days ahead of a hike in the minimum wage, the business community is urging the Mayor Motley government to put the move on hold for the time being. The national minimum wage is set to increase to $8.50 and $9.25 for security guards on April 1. At a virtual press conference today, Chairman of the Barbados Private Sector Association, Ed Clarke, hinted at the possible collapse of some businesses, price increases, and layoffs given the current economic decline if the hike takes effect. He says businesses support a raise in the minimum wage, but the timing is off, and he's suggesting a delay until early next year.
We have many businesses in Barbados that have collapsed. Many small businesses are very negatively impacted. Many large businesses have laid off people. Now in 2021, we see no revenue coming in from the tourism sector. We see a very stagnant marketplace, a very stagnant business sector. But now we're being asked to increase our minimum wage by April 1st this year. We, the private sector, are of the opinion that the timing is way off. We do agree that there's a need for a national minimum wage increase. We support it. We understand the need of our employees. But we do believe it should not be at the expense of the whole business sector and the wider economy. We certainly are asking the government once again, and for the public to understand the reasons that we are asking for deferral until January 2022. We believe it will give these businesses, certainly those in the tourism and hotel sector, certainly many of the small businesses who are still struggling, and many of the large businesses who have laid off people, time to build back up their strength, time to get this economy going again in order to allow us to be able to meet the demand then of these wage increases in 2022.
Clarke suggested that the hike in the minimum wage should have been discussed at the social partnership.
The social partnership is of critical importance in how things are done in Barbados. It represents government, labor, and business sector. And I think things of national importance like this, certainly a national minimum wage, should be brought to the social partnership for discussion before it is finalized. And that has been the policy of government, certainly in the past, and I think that there's nothing for that to change at this time. We should be doing that as a matter of protocol, and we would hope that in future these things would continue to come to the social partnership for discussion prior to being made law or being made into an order.
In other news this Friday, government is also getting pushback on its decision to reopen schools next month. Both the Barbados Secondary Teachers Union and the Barbados Union of Teachers suggest April 19 is too soon. BSTU President Mary Redmond insists authorities must strongly show there will be a safe environment for all. She hopes the next 4 weeks will be used to ensure schools are fully ready. For his part, BUT President Pedro Shepherd maintains a return to school in September is the better option, given the fact that there is community spread of COVID-19 and the ongoing vaccination of teachers.
So the vaccinations is one thing to consider. We also have to consider the fact that a number of the schools have been neglected or abandoned, let me say, over the last term. If you visit any of the schools across Barbados, you will see that the grass is now growing. Cleaning has not been done thoroughly. There are complaints by ancillary staff of rodents having field days at schools and so on. Can we realistically have these schools ready by the 19th of April? The Barbados Union of Teachers has some concern that the school will not be ready, but that is a matter for the Ministry of Education.
Government today launches home ownership program at Lancaster St. James. The affordable homes will see mortgage payments for the properties ranging from $795 for 2-bedroom homes and $1,000 for 3-bedroom homes. Prime Minister Mayor Motley says providing housing is a critical investment her government intends to make.
We must find every way of being able to reduce the cost of prices. And I've said it before publicly. 1, reduce the cost of land. 2, reduce the cost of services developing the land. 3, reduce the cost of the mortgage for the house, the cost of capital. And 4, reduce the cost of construction for the housing. And the 5th one is the empowering one. Use the asset to earn for the homeowner, such that if there is a gap between where they currently are and where they want to be, that the asset of the house with the use of the photovoltaic panels on the roof, that we can therefore bridge that gap. And persons who would otherwise be incapable of accessing a mortgage and being able to buy this property because it is outside of what is considered affordable by the established financial community can now do so. Now, my friends, this is a case of being creative and compassionate all in one to establish a platform for hope becoming reality.
Minister of Housing Dr. William Duguid says his ministry will be exploring all avenues to drive the cost of housing down.
As you may know from our manifesto, this government's vision is to drive down house and land prices to satisfy what is a basic human need and a fundamental human right. A right to adequate and affordable housing in Barbados. But I want to say this morning that it is a vision and a duty that this government will never grow tired of, striving to fulfill. Yes, the demand is great, but it is our daily task to find creative ways of meeting it. And that is what Hope Inc. is doing here this morning.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
To regional news, a Guyanese fishing vessel and its crew drifted at sea for 2 days after they were attacked by at least 12 Venezuelan nationals who were armed with guns. The boat's captain says they were stripped of everything. More on this report from Guyana Newsroom.
The boat's captain, Parisram Maniram, explains that he and his crew of 3 fishermen were pulling in their seine when they encountered the armed Venezuelans who held them at gunpoint and locked them inside a small section of the boat.
My ransom everything for the partner. All food, all boat closing gun, all fish, all gasoline, everything the man thief for the everything, GPS, radio, oil. Everything come from this boat here. All the fish outside the wine. 40 top, 30 bottom. Take away all of it clothes, everything gone.
Further afield, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention Director Rochelle Walensky today expressed deep concern about the trajectory of COVID-19 cases in the United States. More in this report by Chris Dingham of Rogers Television.
It's clear there is a case for optimism, but there is not a case for relaxation.
The Biden administration's COVID-19 response team offered cautious optimism on Friday, saying the White House was on track to deliver its goal of supplying 200 million shots of the coronavirus vaccine in the first 100 days of the president's term.
This is an unprecedented pace.
But said there was cause for concern over the country's 7-day case average.
I remain deeply concerned about this trajectory.
Dr. Rochelle Walensky, head of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, said U.S. infections were up 7% last week to 57,000 daily cases, adding that while the vaccination effort was going strong, Americans should not let their guards down.
We know from prior surges that if we don't control things now, there is a real potential for the epidemic curve to soar again.
The White House said the good news was that Pfizer and Moderna expected to hit their target of supplying 220 million shots between them in the first quarter of 2021.
This significant increase in supply means by the end of May, we will have enough vaccine for every adult in the U.S.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media and bus terminals, as well as Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.